So there is a lot of new releases that are coming out on physical and on digital for horror, thrillers, and all this that you might want to check out this week. So I'm going to tell you about 5. Let's get into it. What's up, guys, and welcome back to Beyond the Void. My name is Alex, and today we're going to be doing my weekly watch list. Holy crap. It's back. It never left. It's been busy, guys, okay? And this next couple of weeks is going to be super busy, but I do have some material, some movies that I'm able to watch. I've been watching a lot of new movies and old movies, but I've been trying to do all kinds of different videos anyway, so it's like we've been doing the weekly watch list just in smaller doses. If you're not familiar with what the weekly watch list is, it's where we talk about movies that I watched this week, and this week I happen to watch a lot of new releases that have either come out on like physical media or on digital. These are horror, thriller, kind of genre bending a little bit. And I picked 5 that I watched this week that I think you should check out, or at least that some of you might be interested in. All of the links to everything will be down below. So if you want to pick it up or watch it online, I'll tell you where to watch it online or where to pick it up on physical media. Without further ado, let's get into my weekly watch list. First up, I got to check out this new movie that's out on VOD now. It's been out for like a week or so. Like an artsy thriller horror movie. There's a lot of things going on in it. It's called A Desert from 2024. Finally got released this year. It's about a photographer who is kind of on a road trip to reignite his old career of taking photos of dilapidated buildings, do a new photographic book, and he goes out on the road without a phone to experience the world as it is and capture it with his camera. And he bumps into this reckless couple who are in the hotel that he happens to be in that day. Things get out of control and they plunge him into a nightmarish neo-noir spiral of unpredictable horror. And man, when this movie packs a punch, it packs a punch. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, it is a little bit of a slow burn, and this is by a director who is really good at shots and like setting up everything and pacing. By director Joshua Erkman, who this is his first feature film. He's done a lot of music videos, which personally, I love that. When I see a director that has done music videos, it says to me that their shots are going to be impactful. With a music video, you have to fit so much and so little time that you want to make it as interesting and popping as possible with the music. And I think they do that here with this movie, only this is much more paced and a longer, sort of drawn out way, but with some extra meat on the bone. It is, one of those movies where you're trying to keep up appearances while the awkward thing is happening in the room. You want reality to set in and just go on with your life, but these two people that this guy meets causes problems, basically gets to the point where he's like going along with them just because he's nervous about what they will do. Skirting the line between, is this bad or good, but just going along with it so you don't cause problems. And it gets so much worse. And man, like I said, there is meat on the bone here. They are larger chunks on a big bone, so they're not that many chunks in the film, but I honestly didn't think it was that slow or boring while I watched it. It is kind of fun and lively in the beginning, and then it completely changes shortly after that. And boy, does it, man. But it's very dark, very bleak. Just go watch it. I personally think this could be high on some people's list. I would give it about a 7.5 out of 10. It's up for rent, and you can rent it for $6.99 on Amazon, Apple, or Fandango at home. May come to streaming at some point, but for now, it's up there. If you want a good thriller that's really stylish and looks cool and goes to some really dark places, very violent places, then you'll probably want to see this one.
All you really have to do is pick up a good book.
Right next to me.
Up next, we have Madman. That's right. It's finally re-released. Kino put this back out, and I finally got a copy of it because it's been years since they put it out. Shout Factory put out a copy of this movie before and had all the trimmings and everything in it. There's a lot of stuff that's on this. This is a movie, if you've never heard of it, it came out in 1989 about this woman who's reading these like sort of old mystery novels that are kind of leaning into the horrific, and she discovers that the book that she's reading about this madman, this insane doctor who cuts off people's body parts and puts them on his own, so like he's his own self-Frankenstein. Well, that guy starts to come to reality in her world and bleed into it, and she's not sure what is reality or not. She falls in love with this police officer who thinks she's absolutely bananas, and he starts to realize maybe she's not full of it after all, and this insane doctor has escaped from the book into their reality. If you don't know who Tibor Takis is, he's the guy who did The Gate and Gate 2. You know, those are two great films that I absolutely love in the horror genre because they really kind of reignite the sort of childish fears that I had when I was a kid, especially the first Gate. But if you've seen that, this is a bit different. This one feels kind of like Darkman if Sam Raimi were to do it, the way they lit it, the way they shot it. There is some like silly behavior in it, but not in the same way that Darkman is. It's just more how it's shot. It feels kind of like a comic book, but again, we're dealing with a book coming into reality, so you know, maybe that's why it is very similar in that regard. It's an interesting kind of almost a slashery kind of movie, but also very surrealistic and dreamlike, and some people absolutely love this movie. One of my good buddies, Dr. Lovegore, who rest in peace, I miss you, buddy, used to write articles on the website for, you know, longlivethevoid.com, and he always recommended this, and I bought it based on him. Now, I didn't love it as much as he did, and he is a huge gore fan. There is some moments in here that are, you know, filled with gore, but I wouldn't really say it's that gory, but he really enjoyed it, and I think some of you will too, because if I look online, you'll see a ton of people who loved it as well. But I would give this one about a 6.5 out of 10. I thought it was interesting and unique. My girlfriend absolutely loved it. She thought it was really unique. A re-release from Kino, if have been waiting on getting a copy, I wouldn't wait, because who knows when they'll put it back out again. You can stream it on Tubi, MGM, and Fubo TV, but I'll put a link down below if you want to pick up a copy.
What is this?
Up next, we have Brick, which is a sci-fi thriller horror movie. Just come out in the last couple of days or so. It's on Netflix, and you can watch it there. It's about a couple who are having troubles with their relationship in an apartment building, and suddenly a mysterious brick forms over all the windows and doors, and they are not sure what the hell is happening in the building. They start breaking through floors to work with neighbors to try to uncover the mystery in this sort of Cube-like movie. It very much reminded me of Cube in that there's this nefarious organization out there that is like keeping these people locked in a box, and they're trying to figure their way out. This is surprisingly gory, by the way, and I was not expecting that. It's actually by director Philip Koch. He did the movie Pico and Outside the Box. It has Matthias Schweighöfer, who stars in this. He was the guy that was the like bank vault, you know, cracker, safe cracker in the Army of the Dead. He was the blonde boy. But yeah, he's in this. It is in another language. It's in German, I think. I don't remember, but they have both versions. You can listen to it in German or you can listen to it in English on Netflix, so whatever works and floats your boat. I personally didn't mind the dubs in it. I left them on just for my girlfriend because she's not a fan of subtitles, and I actually didn't mind it so much. But yeah, things get pretty wild in this movie. Different characters cause suspicion with other characters. There's people acting out and doing different things, so there's a level of attention in there. At first, I wasn't really too blown away by it, but then when they started piling on some of the gore, there's a couple of gore scenes in this movie that I was like, okay. It went from like a 6.5 up to a 7 just by one of the kills. Like, it was so cool. I think it's a fun sci-fi thriller movie. It's not going to blow the roof off, but it'll be a good watch, something fun to watch if you enjoyed movies like Cube. It'll be below that, but still good. I would give it a 7 out of 10. You can watch it on Netflix. Check it out.
Maybe don't put it on your fucking face.
Up next, we have Iconic, which MVD sent this one out to me. It's actually a Jenga and MVD visual release. I'd never heard of this, and I was kind of like, what is this? Like, I don't know what I want to think about this one. But it turns out I actually kind of liked it in some regards. It isn't a perfect film. This is a movie from 2024, but it just got a DVD release, and MVD is putting it out with Jenga. It is about a beauty influencer, which I know, we see a lot of those influencer movies, but hold on, in Los Angeles that gradually loses her grip on reality as sort of the world is kind of falling apart. Her career is sort of trying to be held together by, just a bunch of crazy things happen in this film. It is very stylish, very LA. This is a movie that has LA just like all over it. It's got that goth BDSM sort of style in it. So these girls are kind of dressed up like gothy, alternative, beautiful women. And this main girl who's a beauty influencer, she has a product that she put out that causes a chain reaction that this girl's allergic to. She destroys her face because she put it on without testing it out. And this girl's like kind of like doesn't care about it because she's a beauty influencer that doesn't want anybody. And they kind of get in deep with this girl. And you start to see that, she's not as bad as she really portrays, but because she does this, it's kind of the crux of the whole thing and why her life falls apart. She falls in love with this girl and everything starts going to shit. I thought this was a pretty cool movie. There's a lot of nudity, a lot of none of that's shocking to me, but a lot of really stylistic shots and edits, and it looks like a really good movie. And I would say that 3/4 of the movie I was okay with. I was at a higher rating with a thriller. It's tolerable, and I thought it did a pretty decent job for the beauty influencer thing. The problem is it's at the end of this movie goes bananas. Some of the end I absolutely really liked because they get crazy with it, and they do have this sort of message that I agree with by the end of the movie, but it just didn't necessarily convey it the best way. Event that happens at the end of the movie sort of, I don't know, it kind of drags on, and I don't know, it kind of loses itself a little bit, and it doesn't pack as much of a punch as I kind of wanted it to. But it's not a bad watch, and I would give it a 6 out of 10. And I wanted it to be better. I definitely was rooting for it to be better. There isn't a lot of reviews or anything online, so really I'm just telling you what I think about it. I think a lot of people would find this one to be a little upsetting because of that ending, so they might score it a little bit lower, but personally I think it's at least average, if not 6 out of 10. I would say 6 out of 10 just because of the way it's shot. You can get this on DVD from MVD Jenga DVD release. I'll put a link down below if you want to get it. I'm sure it will come to VOD at some point in time, but I couldn't find any details on it because this comes out on the 15th. So tomorrow or today, if I can get this out in time. It just depends. But the 15th is when this comes out.
Oh, hey guys.
Now here's one that you might not have heard of, and I certainly hadn't heard of before this, but MVD sent it out to me. Thank you very much for sending this out. This is the check disc for Crumb Catcher, but I got the check disc on it, which is exactly the exact copy of the disc, just not with any art on it. Kind of what they do to check and see if it looks good and everything is up to snuff. This one's a story that's kind of a thriller, horror, really unique kind of movie that came out in 2023. It's about a newlywed couple that are having a lot of problems and they decide to get married anyway. You don't really see the wedding or anything like that. You sort of see the after stuff. They're held captive at a remote cabin lake house that they're actually just borrowing from one of their work people, and it's run by a maniacally optimistic inventor who has this machine called the Crumb Catcher, and his ridiculous crazy wife, who are both desperate to get financing for this guy's dream product of the Crumb Catcher. And it's a crazy, weird, bananas plot. It's one of those keeping up appearances, pretending everything's okay because you don't want to rock the boat situations. I love that in a thriller sort of thing, but it's really unique in the sense that the guy who's selling this and the woman who is sort of blackmailing this guy and his wife. And these two weirdos are keeping these newlyweds kind of at hostage a little bit with their invention. The newlyweds are, of course, having issues already, and they're kind of at each other's throats. A lot of people have had issues with the story of these two characters. Not so much their acting, it's really the believability of these two. And my personal opinion is, because I saw a lot of people online griping about it, and they were like, the characters are odd, they just don't make sense, like nobody would act this way. To me, human relationships are very flawed and very complex for a multitude of different reasons. There's flaws in each other that you overlook and know that you're working on it still. People are just weird, and sometimes they just get married for all the wrong reasons. And that's the way I took this movie. I don't know, it made sense to me. I've seen it. I've seen some of my friends do that. A lot of people were like, the characters are unlikable. And it's like, yeah, they're having issues. They're not supposed to be likable, but not every character needs to be likable, in my opinion. Like, I've seen so many movies that I've gotten a thrill out of that aren't necessarily good people or people that you like. If you've ever seen the movie Come to Daddy, that's a perfect example of a great movie with weird, fucked up, just I don't care about these characters, but they're weird enough to keep you kind of drawn in. It's not as good as the playfulness in Come to Daddy, but it has like that ability to keep you in there, especially when you meet the inventor, and when shit goes wrong, it gets pretty crazy and it goes further and further and further. And I thought it was pretty thrilling. I think it's a lot better than people say it is. I would give this like a 6.5 or a 7 out of 10, and it's coming out on Arrow Blu-ray. It's got 5.1 surround sound, the new commentary by the writer and director Chris Scotch-Doppel, and Larry Fessenden and Rigo Gary, who's the main guy who's in the movie, who's getting married. They all wrote this, and Chris Scotch-Doppel, I think I'm saying his name right, is the guy who directed it. He actually worked on Larry Fessenden's Depraved, which was that Frankenstein. He did the cinematography in it, and this is like his first feature film. He does the commentary on here. They do a making of the Crumb Catcher, which is like a 38-minute thing, and they really go over a lot. I enjoyed watching the whole thing. I wasn't even going to watch the whole thing, and I enjoyed it. They got The Egg and the Hatchet from 2016, which is a short film from the director. It's about 21 minutes. You got a Camp Out from 2010, another short film by the director, which is 13 minutes. The original trailer, collector's booklet that comes physically with the physical release, and a reversible sleeve, which I don't have, but I'll show you the artwork here. So, but yeah, this is from the producers of Late Night with the Devil, so it has a good, production to it. And it got Best Actor at Grimfest. So there is some quality to this that I think people are missing out on because they're getting caught up in all the weird, funky details. I actually really liked it. I love the guy John, the inventor in this movie, who's played by John Sparadakis, who was just fantastic. Sleazy, like intrusive, like really good timing. I thought he was just the star of the movie. It's really about this guy, and I think it's worth seeing just for his performance. Everybody else does a really good job. It's just whether or not you're going to be able to enjoy the story. But I think it's good. Like I said, 6.5, 7 out of 10. It's out on Arrow Blu-ray, so if you want to pick up a really cool thriller with like a twist and some like serious, like dark humor in it, I would say check it out. It's also on Prime if you want to rent it for $3.99. I'll put all the links down below. But yeah, that's it, guys. That's everything this week that I checked out. I mean, obviously I've had a ton of different other reviews and such up. I've been really working hard, guys, but I got Fantasia coming up, and I am dedicated to bringing you guys a ton of content. I've got a new show that I've got airing on this channel that is called Void Friends. You heard it here first. Invited on one of my good buddies from the industrial scene when I was in my band, and it was a really good conversation about Videodrome, David Cronenberg, and just so much more. So you're going to want to tune into that. So be on the lookout. I mean, every day, guys, there's going to be content on the channel pretty much every day. If I miss a day, it's only because I couldn't catch enough sleep to get it done. So just know I'm working my butt off for you guys, and I hope you enjoy it. So thanks for coming by, and as always, long live the void.